Hi, everyone. So we're starting from the top. Jamila had to leave. I am Tiffany Williams. I am the owner of streetwear brand Belargo. I have been in business a little over 17 years, and Jamila brought me on as a guest today to talk to you guys about how I literally was able to start my streetwear brand with $500. And over the years, I was able to turn it into a multi-million-dollar brand. Um, Belargo was something that started as a hobby or a passion project. I've always loved fashion. I was always into fashion. And I kind of just wanted to create some t-shirts that I thought would be cool for some of my friends to wear and different people in my city. I'm from Philadelphia. And literally one Friday, I took my paycheck, which was normally I was making a little over $500. I took $500 out of that paycheck, bought a few dozen shirts. Um, Asked a few friends. I had to give some out for free. Not all of them were sold the first time around, but asked a few friends who I knew were popular in the city, could they do me a favor and wear this shirt? When I first started, I did not see this as something that could be a business or even become like a full-fledged brand. Again, it was something I was just doing as a hobby. But after a while of, just really sticking in there, a lot of hard work, a lot of grinding, and a lot of believing in myself, I was able to take this small idea from $500 and turn it into a multi-million-dollar brand. Over the years, I have had my t-shirt on the likes of Meek Mills, 50 Cent, Yo Gotti, Jadakiss, Nicki Minaj. The list goes on and on. And if you had asked me when I first started this brand, which is now 17 years old, one of you would have told me then that I would still even be doing this 17 years from now. I would have thought someone was lying to me. Secondly, if someone would have told me that I would have had who I've been able to get in my brand to date, I would have had those type of celebrities approach me interested in wearing the brand. Um, I wouldn't have believed that either. I was just a young girl starting a brand, literally selling t-shirts out of the trunk of my car. And I think that part of my journey is so important because it just lets you know that one, a lot of people will kind of deter you and tell you that you need all these things to start a business. Start with what you have. I literally, again, started with $500 and popping up on different neighborhoods, different streets, meeting people, opening my trunk and selling t-shirts out of the trunk of my store. From there, over the years, I have had 6 retail locations, and the brand just got bigger and bigger as I went along. But I was able to start with what I had. I had so many people tell me that it wouldn't work, so many people that just kind of wrote it off to being a little thing or not being something that would last. And I'm still here 17 years later. This brand has afforded me the luxury, one, to leave corporate America. I have been working independently for myself for the past 11 years. And two, I'm able to get up every day and do something that I love. So one, I just want you guys to look at me and see that the dream is real. One of the mottos at VIP is if you can see it, you can be it. So if anything that you put your mind to is possible, anything that you really want to do, as long as you put the work in, you obtain the knowledge of how to do it, it is possible. And that's what this program is here for. So I am so happy to have been able to speak with you guys today. Unfortunately, I'm sorry that if it seems rushed, I'm sorry that I'm in and out. I actually have to open my store by 12 o'clock. But I thank you guys for your time. And I just wish all of you a lot of success. You are taking the first step into success because you showed up here this morning to hear from other entrepreneurs. So kudos to you guys for doing that, especially during the summer while you're not in school. But yes, thank you guys for having me. And thank you, Jamila.
We ready? Ah. Hey, what's up, guys? I'm just trying to get the lighting together in here. What's up? Well, first of all, shout out to Tiffany. Thank you so much for that testimonial. It's very, very important that you guys see people who look like you who do dope things. So that's super dope. Shout out to Jamila, Lydia for having me. I think that this is super dope. I know a few of you were on the line yesterday when we were trying to get this going. But a little bit about me. So my name is Ray Holiday. I'm born and raised in Bed-Stuy, Brooklyn. I do a few things, but one of the greatest things I do is I work for Urban One. So under the Urban One umbrella is TV One, Radio One, I1 Digital, and Clio TV. So I get to work on the radio side, the digital side, and the TV side. I deal a lot with their talent. So anytime you see talent on any of those channels, especially the digital channels, especially Hello Beautiful or Madame Noir or Gossip or Global Grind, you'll know that that's coming from me. I get to book in 3 different markets. I book in New York, Atlanta, and LA. It was always been a dream of mine since I was very, very young to have a job that could afford me the opportunity to fly back and forth and see a world that was otherwise just normal to me. So I'm born and raised in Brooklyn. I also have a blog called Stuff Fly People Like. Stuff Fly People Like is about 12 years old now. So we started from the early blogging. So and it's great because a lot of us know each other. It was a great network. But I actually started Stuff Fly People Like when I was working. So I worked my way through college. So first and foremost, I am the product of 2 alcoholic parents. So my mom and my dad were both alcoholics when I was younger, and I went to go live with my grandmother. I'm adopted by my grandmother. My grandmother is super amazing, and all she ever wanted me to do was just to go to school. So I went to school. My BA is in criminal justice from John Jay. But when I got out of school, I was just like, about a few months before I got to get my BA, I kind of decided that I didn't want to do it. My BA is in criminal justice, and for a long time, I wanted to be on that side of the law. I have a twin brother. My twin brother has been in and out of juvie and jail since we were 12. So a lot of me getting into the criminal justice system was to kind of help him and kind of understand how things happen. About a semester away from graduating, I looked and I said, this is not something that I want to do. I kind of felt like I was doing it for everybody else, but not for me. But now it's like, what do I do? Now I have this degree. So I go into the field of security. Somebody threw something at me and said, they'll get your 8-hour certificate. It's one of the easiest jobs you could ever get. That job ended up changing my life because my first post was American Express. And at the time, the CEO of American Express was Black. And I had never really seen a CEO that was like so dope. And looking at that, I remember those days of being on post always shaped me. And I always knew that I could walk in those buildings and I could do the same thing. So I watched life pass me as I did that job. I did that job through college. And I knew when I got out of college, I just didn't want to do it. So I got promoted. And a friend of mine introduced me to a blog it's called the YBF now, but it used to be called Young, Black, and Fabulous. And when she opened up her laptop, I remember saying, somebody gets paid to do this? It was like, I was completely blown away. As I'm reading the blogs, I'm like, people literally get paid to give you the news. So at that point, blogging started to be a little bit prominent. So my best friend and we formed Stuff Fly People Like. And the first year really blew us away. We didn't really know what we were doing. We were kind of like figuring it out. Almost got sued a couple of times. We really had to do it. Our first celebrity interview was Janelle Monáe, and this was about 10 years ago. So, and to this day, every time Janelle sees us, she always shows us nothing but love. And things started to develop. I realized that not only could I write, but that this is something that we could really make this a household name. So we keep going and the interviews just keep going. We were one of the first ones to interview Estelle. We were one of the first ones to interview John Legend. These things started happening. And I really thought in that moment that I could do it. And I didn't come from a family of this is good, good job, this is how you do this. I ended up doing a lot of it on my own. And so having that type of motivation just made me want to do it even more, which is why so that's how we landed at Urban One. So my blog is under the Urban One umbrella. And being in a building like that, I just said to myself, there's no way that I can be around all of this and not tap in. So during the course of this summer, I want to make sure that if there are any journalists, any writers, anybody who want to deal with celebrities in any type of way as far as booking is concerned, that's what I'll be helping out. We're also in the process of bringing back Black Planet. I don't know if you guys remember Black Planet, but Black Planet and MySpace used to rule the internet streets. How big Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook is right now is how Black Planet used to be. And we're bringing it back. We're super, super excited about it. There's no time like the present. Everybody is screaming that we need something that's for us, that's by us. So Black Planet is owned, it's Black owned and operated. It's going to run just like it. So it's going to be amazing. You're going to be able to customize your pages, put music on your pages, just like the old Black Planet, but with a 2020 spin. So super, super excited about that. And so I've been with Urban One now for about 6 years. In this position, I've been there for about 3 years. So I know it's very important that you can be on both sides of the camera. It's very important that there are so many jobs out there that you might not know that you love. So now is a beautiful time for you to actually tap in and figure out what it is that you're super, super passionate about so that you can go after it now. I learned my passion a little bit later. So I always push people to tap in and learn as much about yourself and what you like and what you love as possible. Another simple way is if you follow me on the gram and you go to my IGTV, you'll see like a lot of the videos that I've helped produce. I'm in a few of them doing this just because it's a big difference between producing and being in front of the camera, but I'm more than happy and willing to go over this with you. So I'm super, super glad that we got to have this conversation. Shout out to Jamila, shout out to Lydia, shout out to Tiffany. Yes, if you want to write, let's go. Don't ever stop writing. Don't ever stop being passionate about it. You had an interest in blogging, but this is making me rethink. I do think that it is something that you should rethink. I think first of all, it's a fun job. It's a fun job if you're passionate about pop culture. I never knew when I was growing up that I could have a job that fit into the pop culture genre that would make me super. But it's one of the best jobs that I've ever had, and I would do it for the rest of my life. And so it's just that, once you do get something that you're super, super passionate about it, go for it. Go for it. It's definitely a great, great opportunity. So listen, we'll definitely be speaking very, very soon, but make sure y'all hit me up. Make sure y'all hit Jamila up to let me know what you're interested on. And we shall go from there. I appreciate you guys.
All right, everyone. Hello, everyone. All right, guys. So if you can see me and you are on here, guys, I want you guys to start commenting in the chat right now. Comment in the chat and let me know that you can see and hear me, students. Well, let me tell you a little bit about me. My name is Ronnie Brown, and I am a girl CEO. I'm a female entrepreneur. And a little bit about me, I grew up in Washington, D.C., in the Northeast area, and I had every that could possibly be stacked against me. Okay. Now, let me just say this, kids. How many of you all have ever been in a situation where everybody doubted that you would make it, right? They said that you would be nothing. That you told them some of your dreams. They doubted your dreams. You got a few haters. You know, they're feeling like, how could you possibly accomplish this goal? How could you possibly, do this thing that you want to do? How could you possibly get your dream car? How could you get your dream house? How many of you all on here have ever had people around you like that just always try to dim your light or make your dreams or your goals impossible? Well, let me tell you guys something. I have been there, and I grew up in the projects. How many of you all grew up in the projects? I grew up in Northeast DC. Everybody in my neighborhood was hustling, selling drugs, doing the wrong thing. And I said, you know what? I'm going in a different direction. I am going to change the trajectory of my life. I don't care what everyone else is doing. I'm going to do something different. I watch the hustlers in my neighborhood hustle, sell drugs, hang on the corner. And you know what I did? I learned from them. I learned, the first thing that I learned was I wasn't going to do what they were doing, because most of them ended up shot up, dead, or in jail. I was going to go a different direction, but I was going to apply their work ethic. Okay. One of the things that I realized about their work ethic is they were up early in the morning and they stayed out late at night trying to make something happen. And I said, I am going to adopt that work ethic, and I'm going to apply that work ethic to my business. Now, what we have to learn is that we can take certain things from people and we can apply them to our lives. We can apply them to our businesses. So when I saw those guys on the corner and I saw those guys in the street, I said, I'm going to take some of the things that they're doing and I'm going to apply them to a positive business model that can actually make me some money and actually help me really experience freedom in my life. So I took the work ethic that they had. The next thing I did was I learned their sales mentality. How many of you all understand how big it is to know how to sell something? Okay. How many of you all know how big it is and how important it is to learn how to sell? Well, they were selling, but I took that sales model, and I applied this to something that I was passionate about. See, that's what you all have to learn how to do. You have to figure out what it is that you're passionate about, what it is that you enjoy, and really think about how to turn that thing into that hustle. So what I did is I started making products in my home. This was my first business, y'all. Y'all know how it is. Sometimes things get tough. Sometimes things get hard. I grew up in a crack house. Everybody that was in my house was on drugs. But I said, you know what? I'm getting out of here, right? I also had my son when I was 16 years old. So I had a little kid that was depending on me, and everyone told me I would end up on welfare. Everybody told me I wouldn't go anywhere. Well, I said, you know what? I don't care what the heck they say. Or have made that decision. You've had people tell you that right now you may not be living in the right house or the best house. You may not have the best outfit, the best shoes, but you know that you are willing to work your tail off and you're going to go in a different direction in your life. That was me. That was 100% me. And most importantly, I had my son at 16. So you know what? It really motivated me to go harder. You know what I did? I started to seek out knowledge and wisdom. How many of you all understand the power of getting the information? So many people talk about getting the money. Not many people talk about the power of getting the wisdom. Well, here's the secret, sis and bro. The secret is you got to get the knowledge and you got to get the wisdom to get the money, right? And what I started to realize, I was listening to a lot of my and everybody was talking about getting the money. But when I started to listen to the music, what I started to realize is that many of them were talking about getting the money and spending the money, but they weren't really telling me how to get the money, right? How many of you all have ever noticed that? You listen to the rappers tell you what they've gotten, what they've experienced. They talk about the lifestyle, but the part that you really don't hear in the music is the game. You need the game on how to get the money, how they created the brands, how they got their following, how they got people to listen to their music, how they turned their music into the business models. And that's what I started to research. So in order for me to get that information, I had to put the music down for a second, and I had to go on YouTube, and I had to start doing my research. How many of you all love YouTube? I love YouTube. The reason why I love YouTube is because all of the information is there in Google. I started Googling different ways to market, different ways to get people to look at my brand, different ways for me to get the eyeballs in front of me. How many of you all know that if you want to be successful, the best thing that you can do is get the attention of people? You have to get people to look at you, right? Which is why some of you all are killing it on TikTok. Some of you all have your own YouTube videos. Some of you all are on Instagram. How many of you all follow me on Instagram? If you don't follow me on Instagram, go on over there and follow me, Ronnie Brown, RONNE Brown, and connect with me. I'm gonna make sure I follow all the kids that follow me back. All right. Well, the most important thing is that you have to get the eyeballs in front of you. Okay. Comment in this chat right now if you have the eyeballs in front of you. If people are watching you, if you have a YouTube channel, if you have an Instagram channel, sis, I want to know what you have going on. Drop it in the chat. You have to entertain the people. Hey, Danielle, you have to entertain the people. And what you have to do from entertaining the people is you have to get them to watch you enough and get in front of you enough, and then you're going to monetize that audience, right? One of the things that I want you all to know and understand right now, because sometimes people will tell you, like, you're too young to start a business. No, you aren't. That's a lie. You can start a business right now. I want all of you all to start visualizing and start thinking about what you want to do right now and how to get those eyeballs in front of you, right? You want to create your community now. How many of you all understand the power of creating a community? Comment in the chat. I want to know how many of you all understand the power. Well, the power of the community is so big and it's so strong, and you will really be able to explode when you create this community, y'all. All right. And the reason being is, do you all understand advertising? How many of you all understand the power of advertising? Well, let me tell you a little thing about advertising. You all know that every year people watch this thing called the Super Bowl. Y'all know about the Super Bowl? Comment in the chat if you know about the Super Bowl. Well, so many eyeballs are on the Super Bowl. And because the Super Bowl has so many people viewing it, there are so many companies, there are so many businesses, there are so many brands that want to have an opportunity, all right, to get their business or their brand in front of that audience, okay? This is why we see things called halftime commercials. How many of you all know about halftime commercials? All right. How many of you all see the halftime commercials? And we see all these companies, beer companies and fashion companies and electronic companies and digital companies. All these companies are trying to get in front of the audience that is watching the Super Bowl, and they pay millions. I mean, millions of dollars, y'all. Come on, this is millions of dollars that you all could possibly get in the future. They pay millions of dollars for 6 to 10 seconds in front of that audience, okay? 6 to 10 seconds. I mean, millions. How many of you are like, oh my gosh, millions of dollars for a few seconds? That's crazy. That's crazy. Well, let's just talk about why it's not crazy. Because the Super Bowl has worked really hard to get all those viewers to tune in. And businesses and brands know that people are going to tune in, and they have an opportunity to get their product or service in those. This is where I'm going. You all have one job and one job only. All right. And do you know what that job is? From what I'm teaching you today, what is that job? That job is for you to build a community. That job is for you to get the eyeballs in front of you. But most importantly, that your job is to monetize that audience, right? And I want to give you some tools and some strategies, because I don't care how young you are. You can build a community however you want to build your community. But what I want you all to focus on is I want you to focus on getting the contact information of every single person that follows you. Now, I wish somebody would have taught me this, but nobody taught me this, and I really wish that someone would have taught me this game. This is the game. I call this Girl CEO game. All right, y'all comment in the chat, Girl CEO game. If you get the information, because let me just tell y'all the truth. Y'all remember Vine? Y'all, I might be a little older than y'all, but I'm still a little hip. I still got the hipness going on here, right? How many of y'all remember Vine? Okay, Vine was around. Everybody was on Vine. Vine was straight popping. It was lit. Everybody was making videos on there. It was hilarious. And then the next thing you know, Vine was done. Dead, finished, over. See you later, sis. Where you go? It was done. Okay? It died. All right? We have to be prepared for these companies to die. We have to be prepared for these social networks to die, okay? And we will not have to worry about them dying if we have the access to our audience. You know why? Because when we have the information to our audience, when we have their email addresses, when we have their text messages, y'all, when we have their phone numbers, guess what? We can take our audience wherever we go. That means that if TikTok shuts down and the new thing is TikTok, all right, we can message all of those people, or we can text all of those people, and we can tell them to come and follow us on LickLock, okay? Or whatever the heck the new program is. We can continue to take our audience with us. And right now, we are transitioning into a space where data is going to be gold. How many of y'all know the power of data? Right now, companies are paying influencers thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars because of their data and because of their audience, okay? So what y'all need to do, Chloe, what y'all need to do, Sandra, is you guys need to figure out how to get the information. Meaning, I need you to opt in. I want you all to do some research, okay? I want you to figure out how to build a opt-in. I want you to go on YouTube today when we finish this, and I want you to learn how to create an opt-in, how to create a landing page. And I want every one of you all on here to have a landing page set up that requires people to enter their email address, okay, and their phone number. Okay. Now this is for the people that want to be big bosses, right? This is for the people on here that say, I'm going to be a millionaire. How many of you all are going to be a millionaire? Comment in this chat. Let me know. I'm going to make this bread. I'm going to get these bags. I'm in my bag. I'm getting this money. If that is you, I want you to get off of this thing today with me. And I want you to say to yourself, I'm creating this landing page, because the more information that I have, the more data that I have, the more successful I will be, the more wealthy that I will be. If I get this information, the goal is for you to get the information. You can have 1 million followers, but if you don't have their email addresses, if you don't have their phone numbers, you have nothing, okay? Chloe says she in the bag time 5. Listen, Chloe, if you in the bag time 5, then you need to have a list. I want you to focus on getting a list of 100,000 emails and 100,000 phone numbers, okay? And then we're going to go back to how you're going to monetize that list. Because after that, you guys are going to think about what you are going to sell, the data. That is data. Email, phone numbers, those are data. Then we're going to talk about what it is that you're going to sell, because guess what, Athena? Once you have the phone numbers, once you have the emails, Jaden, then you can sell whatever you want to your audience, okay? You can continue to connect with your audience. You can build a relationship with your audience, okay? Nee, you said you want trillions. If you want to make these trillions, then you definitely got to get your data up, all right? People are out here saying, get your bag up, get your money up. This is what I'm going to tell you. I'm going to tell you to get your data up, okay? So y'all got to get y'all data up. If you don't have your data up, then you're not going to get your bag up. So secure the data, and then you will secure the bag, because there's no accident. Let me just tell y'all think it is a reason why y'all go into these stores? Y'all think it's a reason why y'all go into these stores, okay? And when you go into these stores, I want to just stress this. How many of y'all go into these stores and y'all go to the counter? And when you are in the front of the counter, the first thing that they ask you for, you see them ask your mom, they say, would you like to enter your email address? Can we get your email address? How many of you all have seen that? You go into the store, you might go into Pink, you might go into Forever 21. The first thing that they're asking y'all is for your email address. Come on. I know y'all be paying attention. You're like, why are they trying to get my email address? What they want my email address for? Why do they want my email address? Well, the reason why they want your email address, and the reason why they're asking your mom for her email address, is because they want your data. They want your data. Y'all, let me just tell y'all, when I grew up in Northeast DC, I didn't even understand, okay? I didn't even understand the power of data. I didn't understand the power of getting people's information, okay? So, yes, Jeffrey, you said they asked you, would you like to sign up for rewards cards? That's right, Jeffrey, you are smart. They also say you want a discount. So if you give them your information, they sit there and then they start emailing you. That's right. Come on. Eunice said they email me every day. They email me every day. That's exactly right. Well, what you all have to understand is the reason why they're doing that, because how we said we're going to get in our bag. How old are y'all? Drop your age in the chat. Most of y'all are between the ages of what, Jamila? What's the age range?
They're between 14 and about 18.
Okay, everybody in here is between the age of 14 to 17 years old, all right? So the Girl CEO game of the day is for you all to do what? Comment in the chat. I don't know how long you've been on, Jamila, but we're learning. They're learning.
I've been backstage. First of all, let me just say this, right? I don't have 1 million followers, but I have 145,000 followers, and I don't have their email addresses.
Oh, no!
It's true. And so what you just did was wake me up, because if Instagram shut me down tomorrow, I'm done. So like, you're giving my team stuff that not just they need, we need. So you inspire me. I wanted to bring them an audience of folks that inspire me. Ronnie gets to her bag. Ronnie has that information. Ronnie is just like you and I. She's ill, she's dope, and she took her time this morning to come give you some motivation and some dope information that you could apply now. So Ronnie, I'm just grateful, Ronnie. I don't even know what to say. I'm just sitting back here like.
All right, well, let me tell y'all this. We got my future millionaires on here right now that are between the ages of 13 and 18 years old, okay? What are we focused on, guys? I want to just know, before I get off of here, I want to make sure y'all straight, and we getting into the what my girl say on here. She in her bag times 5, okay? The hashtag for the day is get your data up. That's the hashtag for the day, okay? So right now, everyone on here has homework from Mother Ronnie, and the homework is for them to create a landing page. That's what they got to do, all right? Get your data up. We got millionaires, and I got one person on here that said they're going to be a trillionaire. Well, I told them that the trillions and the millions will be based on their data, okay? So get your data up, get your data up. All right, I see y'all in the chat. I feel good leaving y'all on that note.
Yeah.
Y'all come and connect with me online. I'm gonna show y'all some love. And
Ronnie, we definitely got to get you back. We definitely got to get you back. So before you say anything else, they are doing some incredible classes, some social media marketing. Latoya is leading some stuff. We got to get you back in. Like,
I'm down. You know, I love the youth. I'm down for the youth, y'all. And every single one of y'all that follows me, I'm gonna follow y'all back, okay, and show y'all some love. And y'all better have that landing page in y'all bio. y'all got 48 hours to get that landing page up.
Give them your information again, your social media information for those that didn't get it.
My Instagram is Ronnie Brown. Some of them already follow me. I don't know how. RONNE Brown, but some of them are already following me. Come and follow me on Instagram. I'm gonna connect with y'all, but I'm gonna make sure y'all do your homework or we're gonna fight. All right? We're gonna fight.
Thank you so much for coming, Ronnie. You're the best. Love you. And I'm gonna get my data up. How about that? They're not gonna just get their data up. I'm gonna get my data up too. How about that?
Yes, let's go. I love y'all. Let's get to work.
Thank you, Ronnie.
All right, bye.
Okay, guys. So what an amazing day. We had planned out incredible speakers for you. I want to say something before I take you to break. Certain times we're gonna have hiccups in this experience, but the key is we gotta keep going. Because the more we go, the more we flow. I'm gonna say that again. The more we go, the more we flow. So thank you for staying tuned. Afternoon session begins promptly at 12:30. We got Seton Hall in the building, right? More information, more education. This is East Orange Sweat Baby, and it's going down. So you have a wonderful lunch break, and we're gonna see you back again at 12:30. Have a great day. Hello, 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 everyone. Welcome back from lunch. So today is Thursday. So we want you to get used to Thursdays. Thursdays, we are going to have our live streaming sessions, give you just a chance to kind of relax and listen and learn some incredible things. So I'm grateful for all the guest speakers that we had on this morning. Now we got more stuff happening. But this is what I want you to know. If there's ever a problem where we lose you, you can go to the Instagram account and look at the link in the bio and click right there to get where you would need to go. Again, I'm going to say that again. A lot of folks have been emailing and wanting to know what happens in the case that we lose you. Go to the link in the bio immediately in Instagram, and we're going to update to a new link if there's a problem. So that would be the way that we do that. So without further ado, I want to talk to you about the partnership with our program. The VIP Online Academy has partnered with Seton Hall University. And in order to have such great partnerships, we have to be able to be connected with incredible people. So I want to introduce to you my friend, my brother, Dr. Juan Rios, who is the director, I want to say it correctly, so I'm going to let him say exactly. It's the Masters of Social Work Department of Seton Hall, and that's a big deal. So you don't really see folks that are black and brown in those high positions, and he's there, and he has an incredible session to lead you with today. Also, we're going to have afternoon sessions, which we'll post of where you can go and what you're to do. So stay tuned, guys, and without further ado, I want to bring in Dr. Juan Rios. Dr. Juan Rios, how are you today, sir?
Good afternoon. Good afternoon. How you doing? How you doing, Jamila, my sister? I'm so excited to be here. Super excited.
So I'm going to get out your screen and I'm going to let you do your thing, but please introduce yourself. Please let the kids know why education was important to you and do your thing with this. Just do what you do.
All right. Absolutely. Absolutely.
All right. I'm signing off and I'll be back when you finish. Have a great day, Juan.
All right. Nah, no doubt. Thank you so much. And I'm so happy to be here. So I'm going to share my screen with everyone. And I hope you all could see this. So let me just go here. So first and foremost, I want to be able to say thank you to Jamila. Thank you to the VIP team. Thank you to everyone for having me here today. I am super excited and happy to here to present you two things. One, a bit about my life and share with you as far as how and why and where I am today, but also to provide you with specific tools and tips in order to help you with current challenges we may be facing. All right. So just before we get started, I want to be able to give you just a brief background into who I am. As my sister Jamila I mentioned, my name is Dr. Juan Rios. I am the current director of the Master's Program of Social Work at Seton Hall University. I'm also a private practitioner. I'm a therapist. I'm a licensed therapist. I'm also a researcher. I've conducted research everywhere from China to Central America to the United States, and really studying trauma. Okay, so what I mean by that is understanding what a person's experience through events that may have harmed them or psychologically created some damage. And in order to understand trauma and recognize trauma, we first have to understand it within ourselves. And I wanted to talk a bit about who I am. Okay. So I am an immigrant. I wasn't born in this country. I was born in Panama, and I grew up in the city. Many of you are familiar with Jersey City. I first moved here. I lived in Brooklyn, from Brooklyn to Jersey City to New Haven back to Jersey City. And most of my life was spent in the inner city community. So one, being an immigrant. Two, being a Black Latino living in the inner city. As many of you already know, it was very difficult. My family in itself had a lot of different challenges. My father was addicted to heroin when we came to America. So it was a lot of challenges with seeing someone live through addiction actively in my family, in my personal life. Going into incarceration. My brother was incarcerated for 10 years. We've lived in and out of homelessness, foster care settings, me personally, as well as dealing with my own mental health as a result of all this trauma that was happening around me. Okay. So we're talking about the 90s, the height of so many things happening in our society, post Rockefeller drug laws. So my brother, who was trying to really help us move out of poverty, began selling drugs and caused him to have a 10-year incarceration. And I say all this not in order for you to, I don't know, pity me or be able to 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 share a lot of my personal life vulnerably, but it's because I live unapologetically. I live integrated, recognizing that my past, my present, is what guides me to be having a better future. So, the message today is really recognizing the intersection between our own personal stories and how we turn that into a triumph by healing our minds. So this morning, a lot of you were listening to some very, very, very powerful narratives and learning about the music industry, learning about entrepreneurship. So as you get into the stage of your life and believing in yourself, we have to also recognize what we come to the table with. What are some of our challenges psychologically in which we have to move through? And we, in our own communities, we got to be able to destigmatize mental health and move away from looking at someone that's help seeking as having a problem. So before we get started, I want you all to write down 2 things that you would like to obtain from this presentation regarding mental health. So we're going to go into destigmatizing mental health within ourselves, recognizing trauma, recognizing how we respond to it, okay? Because as all of you are kind of growing up in this world and the awakening that's happening through racial justice, community uprising, you are living in a time in which right now you are the ones who are to create this change that we need to see. But you have to make sure you're right here and you're right here, okay? That you have your emotional mind, your psychological mind healthy together. And what are those practices? So I'll stop right there. I would love for you to take a moment right now and you can write in the chat box 2 things that you want to take away from this presentation. So I'm watching you. You can write it down right now. I'm going to take a minute. I'm going to give you about 10 more seconds. What are 2 things you want to have or obtain from this presentation? Okay, I really believe in writing things down. When you write things down, you manifest them into reality, into the here and now. So jot these 2 things down. All right. Keep the answers coming. And I want you all to notice what folks are saying. All right. Staying positive. Definitely. Needing more motivation. Absolutely. Maintaining good habits, promoting healthy mental health onto other people. Absolutely. It's important because we live within also micro systems within our family, within our society. So the better you are, the better we are as a society, the more we impart that infectious wellness onto others, and we have better communities. Danielle, great point. Controlling our mental health and how it's painful. Self-confidence, determination. Yes, very, very important. Peace, happiness, and building absolutely better self-esteem. Thank you, Amir. Okay, how to deal with any topic dealing with mental health. Ambar, thank you. How to prepare yourself mentally for anything that comes your way. Okay, absolutely. Absolutely. We're going to have a healthy discussion around that. Francesca, how to not allow feelings of anger or sadness to corrupt us. Okay, yeah. So that's really important and impactful, because we're talking about our boundaries. What are those boundaries, and how do we keep those boundaries and keep a positive mindset? All right, motivation and understanding, phenomenal. Finding inner peace. Yes. Okay. So as you write these two things down, I want you to hold it close, and let's first have one universal truth in this presentation. Okay, the first universal truth that we're going to all agree upon is that mental health and mental illness is not a personal failure. So despite of what you may see in pop culture, despite of what you may hear from others, our mental wellness is an everyday practice. And things happen to us, and we are not at fault about what happens. We could only control our behavior and our response to what happens to us. So as we move forward through this presentation and through this discussion, we're first eliminating right here, right now, for good, forever, the thought that mental health, mental illness is something of a personal failure. Okay? We have a really bad habit in our community of looking at when someone's going to go get help or help seeking, that they've done something to themselves to cause it this way, or they're too weak to handle their problems. And that's not true. Okay? That's the lie that the devil sold to be out. That's just a lie. All right. We all are affected by mental health and mental illness. So let's take the example of COVID right now. Okay, let's bring it home. The fact that you're seeing me through a remote learning is a shift and a change into how you learn in general, how this would normally have happened. We would have been in person, would have probably had a chat before this, grab some coffee, had a personal dialogue. But now we're resorted to having our online learning, our communication through isolation in the form of distancing. And we experience a certain thing. So we're experiencing loneliness. Okay. How are we connecting with others? Okay. We're worried about if there be any shortages of money or resources. Okay. We don't really fully understand what's happening right now, how long this is going to happen in the next few months. Some of you have plans for this summer, okay, and are disappointed that no longer were you able to have these plans for vacation, hanging out with your friends, going to see family. So it's loss. These are losses in which we're experiencing, and it's not being processed effectively, okay? And sometimes you want to be able to help others, help your grandparents, but you can't go see them, okay? Can't go see other relatives because you don't want to expose them. And the worry about normalcy, whether going back to work, going back to school, all right? All of these things are creating distress in our bodies. So recognize that first, that universally, globally, there are some shifts and changes that we're all experiencing outside of what we consider to be normal and healthy and wellness, and how we find community, how we care for each other, for ourselves, okay? And how we're compassionate to each other. So if you could remember 3 things out of this presentation. 1, how do I build community? Okay. 2, care. How do I care for myself? Self-care during this time. And 3, compassion. How am I being compassionate towards myself and towards others? So I want you to write down those 3 things: care, community, compassion. If you get anything out of this presentation, walk away with those 3 things and understand its complexity and how you apply that to everyday life, whether you're going to be an entrepreneur, whether you're going back to school, whether you're going to college, whether you're going to do whatever you want in life. Right now, be mindful of those 3 C's. Who's your community? Who's my tribe? Those people I go to for trust. Those individuals I go to when I'm saying, you know what? I'm not doing too good. I'm struggling right now. This is hard. Instead of saying, how you doing? Yeah, I'm okay. I'm fine. I'm all right. Like, no, we're not all right. We're not fine. We're not okay. Okay, we've had 2 global awakenings, one with the pandemic and one with the social uprising, okay, regarding police brutality and racial justice. Okay, so these things are affecting us every day, every day. So in our community specifically, I want to begin to talk a little bit about communities of color. Okay, and when we think about mental health, one thing that's very taboo often when we don't talk about is, well, suicidality. And the reason I say that is because when we move into depression or sadness as a result of loneliness, when we don't have community, we start getting in our heads, right? We start getting in our heads about whether I should be here or not. And we have to not look at these topics as taboo, like, oh, we shouldn't talk about it. But we have to confront it in order for us to know the reality of what's really happening, that some folks aren't good, okay? But here in this space, right here, right now, we're dismantling that idea about what's taboo, because we want to be real, we want to be honest in order for us to grow and become better people and not hide and suppress our real feelings. So guess what? More than 5 African Americans commit suicide, all right, every day, okay? And 4 of them are male. Think about that. 4 to 5 people who kill themselves every day are men, okay? And men of color, some of the social constructions that we know about it is that, especially with men, there are these toxic masculine behavior that we think we have to be. We think we have to put out this sense of strength in order to prevent us from connecting to one another. And what we need is connection in order to heal our spaces internally, in order to heal our community, and in order to find worthiness. Now, somebody said this earlier, right? How do I find motivation? And oftentimes we become unmotivated when we feel like we don't have worth. So when we think of how do I find motivation, I want you to go back and ask yourself, how worthy am I to receive success, to receive all the beauty and the prosperity that's before me in my life journey? Process that first, okay? Take a deep sense within, because there are plenty of people out there that are successful, that are doing well, that are entrepreneurs, that have money, millionaires and billionaires, but they're empty inside. They don't have purpose. They don't have love. They don't have community. So begin to first untap that. So as you go through this series, these next 6 weeks or so, and you're learning about coding or editing or entrepreneurship, you have to also be ready to prepare yourself here and here, your mind and heart, to receive and believe that you will be successful, that this world and having peace and love within is possible, okay, and even greater. So this is just some general statistics that I think we need to talk about. I'm going to go through these very quickly because I really want to have a conversation and have a lot to cover and pause in between. So we know there's 6 million men per year suffer from depression. Again, I'm talking about men here. And I'm not excluding women at all. What I'm doing is give you a snapshot into the percentage of individuals who I primarily have worked with in the past, mostly men of color in urban communities. And this is what we find. And one thing that I tell all the men that come see me is that most of them who do come see me, whether young men between the ages of 16 to 25 mainly, when they walk into my office and they're upset, my partner doesn't understand why I'm so angry, or all these issues of responding aggressively. Most of them have are suffering from depression and sadness. Okay. But they respond in a way that society deems it to be appropriate, which is through aggression. Okay. And that's not the healthiest way of responding to what's really going on, is that I'm lonely. How many of us say to somebody, you know what, I'm not okay. I am lonely. I am sad. I'm not doing well. Okay. Because that sense of vulnerability opens us up, and we don't always trust who will be there to hold us. So that's why that community part is so important. Who is your tribe? Who do you surround yourself with? Who are those individuals who are like-minded, that are moving towards your direction, that when you do disclose how you are really doing, that you're being held? Okay, whether it's your parents, whether it's friends, whether it's relatives, no, it doesn't matter who it is, but that you identify that community of behavior. Okay. So again, these are more statistics, all right, regarding the health disparity, the gender disparity, the risk factors. And I want to emphasize the risk factor for a second, okay? And we're talking about social isolation is a big risk factor, going back to that loneliness. So if we universally right now, right here, are in isolation through COVID, right, how do we find community during these moments? And what are we resorting to? So I'm sure all of y'all, most of y'all who are on social media, are finding a sense of community on social media, right? Folks are sending out memes, they're joking, they're laughing, you're watching TikTok, you're doing all these things. But are you finding true connection as well? Okay, and not missing the fact of between disassociation, which basically means, am I fully present? Okay, and many of us who are not present start moving towards using different substances in order to not feel pain and not feel hurt. Okay, and not recognizing our trauma, that puts us as risk factors in regards to our own mental health and our own wellness. Okay. The other point I want to make here, and to be clear, is that also we know that in our communities of color, not only are we most likely to be victimized, okay, we're also most likely to harm one another, meaning in our own community. So we're both hurt people, all right? So if we don't deal with our own trauma, we tend to re-victimize others, and that just further perpetuates a community of harm, all right? So we're most likely to be victims, okay, by each other and for and for both by and for. So when does the healing begin? When does that start? Okay. So we recognize that this healing has to move through by first recognizing what is trauma. Okay. And it's seen in different ways. Okay. So somebody mentioned earlier, how do you notice or help others who are going through their own struggles of wellness? So here are some things, some tips and skills that you can see when you're recognizing yourself being in distress or somebody else. Okay. So it's when you have a sincere loss of interest in things that used to give you joy and pleasure. You start separating yourself from family or friends, right? Nobody loves me. Nobody understands me. Nobody cares about me. Okay. How true is that? That nobody does? So we first have to rewire that thinking and rewire that belief that I am all, that nobody loves me. Okay. We have to try to find that sense of community. And we start also noticing some of these behaviors when we start being angry and violent towards others, then you know that that's one of the signs that you see a person's in distress. Okay. An important one here, and I'm gonna, go to the next slide with this for the sake of time, is also, well, do we or are we engaging in self-destructive behavior? So let's pause here, and I want to ask you a question. I want you to name self-destructive behavior that you have seen in other people. All right. So put that up on the screen. What are self-destructive behaviors that I see either in myself or in others? Okay. Now, when you say it doesn't have to be about you, it could just be such a general. So sometimes people are self-destructive by isolating. Sometimes they engage in abusive behavior, self-abusive behavior. Sometimes they don't even begin to move or believe in themselves in participating in activities that'll help them become better. So before we even get into the ring, we lose the fight. So we self-sabotage. Okay. So I want you to write them down, and let's see what we're talking about real quick. Shutting down, low self-esteem. Yep. Fighting is a big one. Yep. Negative affirmations. We'll go into that. Isolation, self-harm, self-doubt. Good. Yep. Bottling emotion. That's when we hold things in. Yep. Hiding behind jokes is a big one. That's his defense mechanism. So we tend to tell these jokes within ourselves to others, but the real issue is happening within. The real issue is that, I really am hurt. So we'll laugh about our weight. We'll make fun about how we look. We'll make fun about what we're dressing, how we are, right? But the real truth is that there's a deep truth to what's happening, okay? Not facing our biggest fears and problems is another one. Absolutely. Another one, that's a great one. Charlencia said a beautiful one when we're comparing ourselves to others. Toxic behavior. So how many of us are on Instagram? Probably everybody's going to say yeah, right? Probably 99% of y'all on Instagram. And one of the biggest challenges I have with Instagram is when folks tend to compare themselves to other people. All right. You start searching, you start looking, and you're, oh, so-and-so is doing this. Oh, so-and-so is doing that. Why can't I do that? Whether how I look, how much money I make, what kind of clothes I'm wearing, even what kind of things I'm doing. All right. And, whether the FOMO effect is real, but then by comparing comparing one to another, what happens? We start to bring our sense of self lower and lower and lower. Okay. And in order to combat that, I'm going to give you one tip right now. All right. I want you to write this down. Show more compassion to that individual. Okay. So one tip I'm going to give you is the more compassion and joy I have for what someone else is doing and their love, and show more love to the things that they have and are moving towards, the more you feel that you are able and entitled to receive it. But when you hold resentment and envy, that breeds more negativity within you. Okay. So when you see something, you say, you know what, that's dope. Good for you. Blessings. Right. And you leave it at that and you keep it moving. Okay. Practice showing more compassion, more love, more positive energy towards others. Because when we do that, we start to trick our minds into recognizing that we are also ready to receive that. So there's this beautiful Buddhist quote that I always use, and it goes like this: You just as much as anyone in the universe is deserving of your own love and compassion. I'm going to say that again. All right, for some of y'all who might have missed that. You, just as anyone else, just as much as anyone else in the universe, are deserving of your love and compassion. So think about somebody you really, 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 really love and care about. All right, hold that in your mind. Think about how much you love them, how much compassion you give them, right? Unconditionally. So now, how much of that do you give to yourself? How much of that same energy, of that love and compassion, do you show yourself? Okay. When we make mistakes, the first thing we say is what? I effed up, or I'm so stupid, right? We say things like that. But what's the message when we hear that? When we hear ourselves say these things about ourselves so quickly, we're not showing ourselves love and compassion. We're harming our internal sense of self. So having money, being an entrepreneur, escalating to the higher echelons of life means what? When you're by yourself, you don't love yourself. All right. So let's get back to the presentation. And this type of self-harm and conscious self-harm begins to also expand in our communities when we're not doing our work internally. Okay. And we become a community of angry folk, right? Of people who store things inside. Um, and is that the kind of society we want to live in? So as all of you are living in this current time of awakening, you have the choice to say how I design my future and the future society I want to live with. So those people, your colleagues, your classmates that are in this program, they also are hearing this and making a commitment to saying, I'm ready, I'm willing to work within and be better. Okay. Be better than the person who you were yesterday. Right. Because that's how we establish healthy boundaries. So someone mentioned that earlier. They had a question, one of those two things, and that one of them was, well, how do I also, um, you know, um, not allow negative people to sort of infiltrate my space? And that's how we call setting a boundary. That's what you're saying to yourself. It's okay for me not to pick up this call right here, right now, because I'm not in a good space to do it. It's okay to say no when I know I'm not doing well. It's okay for me to be about my business and not have to feel guilty because I'm doing good, because I'm succeeding, because I'm happy. So when you get to these levels in your life, as you're learning through these 6 weeks about growing, about um, being an entrepreneur, learning these skills and taking these skills, whether it's music or art or business, to your next level, there gonna be some people who you aren't gonna come with you, and they're gonna make you feel guilty and say you changed, you forgot about me, you forgot about us, and it starts hitting you here because you love them. But at some point, you got to create boundaries. I'm not saying let them go. I'm saying not allowing them to get deep into your space and to hit home. Okay. Finding a sense of belonging, of who you are, understanding who you are. Okay. We're all royalty, and recognize you are kings and queens and folks who it deserve love and happiness no matter what, unconditionally, by loving ourselves unconditionally. Okay. So we need to recognize that light and that love in other people. Okay. So I'm going to ask a question out there, and I hope somebody can answer this. So, how many of you ever heard? Well, this is kind of rhetorical. Have heard the term namaste, right? People say namaste. Probably a lot of you have, right? So I want somebody out there to give me what the definition, without having to Google it, what does namaste mean? What's the definition? And post it in the chat box. Namaste. So what is the term namaste? I'm gonna give you 10 seconds before I answer the question. All right, dope. Somebody said peace. All right. One more. Thank you, Dominic. Got 10 seconds. Peace. All right. Peace be with you. Okay. Absolutely. Absolutely. Peace be to you. Okay. Yes. So I'm gonna take it a step further. So the term and the word namaste, when we use it, when it's being used in Buddhist psychology, when I studied China, I learned a lot about Buddhism and about how they look at compassion and life and love. And I thought that was very loving about the term namaste. It's the light within me sees and honors the light within you. Okay. So I'm going to say that again. The light within me sees and honors the divine light within you. So when we go about our community, we first have to embrace each other with love and light, and recognize that the love you have, the more you love yourself, the more light and honor you give yourself, the more you can share that to somebody else. And then we have healthier and more compassionate and loving communities. All right. So this is one of my favorite quotes when we think about mental health, especially within hip hop music. I like using art and expressionism as I talk about wellness and mental health. Okay. So some of you already have seen or heard um, um, these lyrics, right? And I'm going to recite it for you. Living in the world is no different from a cell. Every day I escape from Jake's giving chase, selling bass, smoking bones in the staircase. Though I don't know why I chose to smoke cess, I guess that's the time when I'm not depressed. But I'm still depressed, and I ask, what's it worth? Okay. Some of you have heard these lyrics before um, by the Wu-Tang Clan, song Cream, 1993. And when the song came out, these words always really spoke to me in 93 when I was in a place of hopelessness, okay, living homeless from couch to couch, foster care, um, seeing a lot of my friends around me lose their life. And I felt that what was around me was really a cell, like he says, right? That I was trapped at these 4 blocks, these 6 blocks I lived in. That's the only world I knew. I never left that. And what does that mean into how we understand our own mental health, right? And some folks choose to use escapism as a way to deal with our own mental health, whether it's Inspector Deck says smoking cess. Some people drink alcohol. Some people overindulge in other activities to not escape, right? We spend too much time online worried about other people doing, okay, in order to fill that void. But I'm still depressed, okay? That these things that we do every day to escape does not fill that void within of sadness, of depression. And that meaning and community and care and compassion, those are genuine, authentic approaches into healing and moving through our own mental health awarenesses and illnesses. Okay. So I'm not going to get too much into this part. This is about post-traumatic stress. And this is really like kind of the up there kind of the work on that theoretical stuff that I don't need to get into. I'm here to talk to you. I'm here to have a very informal conversation, but drop knowledge about the reality of what we're facing and how do we get past it. And post-traumatic stress disorder is one of those things in our community that we see often and a lot. Okay, when we experience severe trauma and we don't address it, we don't deal with it, we have negative responses to it. So where we, like someone mentioned, fighting is their first response, it being able to let out what's happening. But that's because we are in a state of dysregulation. The only thing we think we know is to fight. We're so quick to what you say, and get into that because there's something deeper that's hurting, right? We're either concerned that this person's there disrespecting me or trying to play me or being aggressive toward me, that I have to get there first because I'm in a state where I don't feel safe, okay? Or am I in a position in which I have so much bottled up inside that if anybody says something to me at any time, they can get it because I'm not dealing with what really is happening inside me, all right? That's trauma. That's what we look at. If you look at these definitions, you read through them, it's some of the symptoms of what we call post-traumatic stress, all right? And here's more description of what it looks like. Some people experience severe headaches, flashbacks, unpredictable emotions. Again, those are very common ways in how we respond to what trauma is. And I want you all to take a look at this picture right here. All right, this is a very interesting one because we're going to bring it home. So I'm going to take a minute and pause and just for you to look at and analyze what you're seeing. All right. So as I talk, I want you to post up what are you noticing? What comes to mind when you see these two images back to back? Okay, so you could throw it in the chat box. What are the two? What are the things that's coming to your mind when you see these images? And I'm gonna kind of go into what this means here, and when we are in a state of dysregulation or trauma, right? When we want to escape, basically, when we're thinking about escaping from our problems, running away from our problems, somebody said, a lot of people tend to do this as a way to self-medicate. Okay, smoke a lot of weed, take all these pills, go take alcohol. But there's also an issue in our own community that we don't talk to each other therapeutically, right, in a healing way. But what do you see in your community a lot? You see these liquor stores on every block. Okay, you see a sign for like fish and chicken. Okay, you have these greasy foods that we run to overindulge or eat in our community. All right, but are we doing or engaging, or do you see on our block places of healing, places of safety, places where we can come together and feel okay to express how we are, how we're doing, and show each other that namaste, right? Nah, what we see is a systemic level of oppression that comes in the form of self-medication and isolation and escapism that's put in there as a means to suppress us from moving forward in our life. So we run to liquor, we run to drugs, we run to alcohol, to fast, greasy foods, things that's not meant for our bodies, okay, to escape. And you see these combination liquor, chicken spots, liquor pharmacies, right? But are we engaging in nature? Are we exercising? Okay. Are we meditating? Are we doing those things that really work deeper within ourselves instead of running to these chemicals, excuse me, as a means to heal? Okay. So I mentioned earlier meditation. So I'm a huge advocate of mindfulness, which is basically being able to slow down, okay? Being able to notice what's around you, being able to check in with yourself. Okay. So what I would like to do is exercise with all of you. And I want to go through a 60-second exercise, mindfulness exercise. So hopefully you're not on your beds. Some of you are, get off your bed, put your feet on the ground. All right. Put your feet on the ground, put your feet on the ground, put your feet on the ground. Stand up straight. Sit straight, sit up straight. Okay. And let's do a check-in. So basically, what I want you to do is to begin to just slow down. And the next 60 seconds, just take a few breaths. You close your eyes if you feel comfortable. Notice your heart rate. Slow that down. Relax your shoulders. Loosen your facial muscles if it's tight. And you could repeat the words the next 30 seconds in your mind. Unconditional love for self as you breathe in and out. So take one last deep breath in. Slowly breathe out. Loosen up your shoulders. Okay. And just check in with yourself. So if you like, as I'm going through, you can just respond in the chat box. What did you notice? Right? Did you notice yourself a little bit more relaxed? Do you notice yourself slowing down your heart rate? Things on your mind, fully present. So that's what we call presence of self. That's when you're allowing yourself to first check in with yourself, to be fully present in each moment. Now, how many times have you experienced a really amazing time with your friends or family, but you don't even remember? Like, time went by so fast, right? You're like, damn, what happened? I don't even remember what happened. Even think about this morning. Okay, you had some really amazing presentations this morning, phenomenal presentations. Do you remember 3 things you took away from it? Well, the question is, how much were you present? Even as you're hearing me speak, are you doing other things? Are you here, but you're also on your phone, or you're also doing something else, right? But making sure that you're fully present in the moment so you can fully take in these experiences. All right. So often we try to do 2 or 3 things at the same time, especially when we're remote, that what happens is that we lose connection. So this is one exercise I'm giving you to do every single day, right? Before you make decisions, during the middle of your day, remind yourself, all right, let me check in. How am I doing? Sit in silence and take a few breaths and repeat to yourself a mantra that is, I'm loving myself unconditionally. All right. So this goes into disassociation, which I mentioned earlier, which is kind of like escaping who we are, being fully present. And when we're not fully present, we lose opportunities for engagement, opportunities for relationships. So one of the biggest combatants of depression, this is a question you asked me, right, that you want to get out of it. So I'm answering your question. How do I fight some of these thoughts, this negativity? What are some of the healthy habits I can have? All right. If you practice this one thing every day for the next 20 days, you will see how happiness in your life will increase. Okay. It will increase. And it's what studies have shown to be the biggest combatant of depression and sadness and loneliness is gratitude. Okay. It's a better strategy than anything you can have. How am I experiencing gratitude? So let's pause right here. And I want you to write down for yourself, what are 5 things you are grateful for? Okay. So put it down somewhere close. Could be a journal or a piece of paper, something you could look at tomorrow. Put it somewhere in your house that you'll see it on a daily basis. So I'm going to give you just a couple of minutes on this. Okay. And for those of you who I encourage you, write down one thing you're grateful for. Okay. And a lot of you might say family. I want you to move into a little bit deeper. Okay. What about your family do you love? Who in your family do you love? Go a little deeper. Why? I appreciate health. People, I'm happy for my health. All right, what does that mean? Okay. I'm happy to be able to walk outside, breathe life, take time to reflect. I'm grateful for that. So I am grateful for. So take another couple minutes to write those 5 things down. And for those of you who want to share in the chat box, please do so. This is a collaborative experience. Anaya, yes. Isaiah, yes, thank you. Brianna, absolutely. Mindset and God. Jay, absolutely. It's an everyday practice, right? How do we stay healthy? Yes. Athena, absolutely. To be alive another day, it's a blessing, right? Many of our friends and family aren't here today. So when we live life, we don't just live it for ourselves, we embrace it for those who aren't here with us, right? We're here for a reason and we have to fulfill our purpose. So being grateful that we have this opportunity is a gift in itself. Absolutely. So as you guys continue, keep sharing if you like, but make sure you write this down, keep it close by you, put it somewhere where you can look at tomorrow. Okay. And every day, my challenge to you is every day, write down 2 to 3 things you're grateful for the next 21 days. And notice where level of happiness or love or gratitude or presence or purpose where you will be in your life. So this is another quote that, again, I grew up in the 90s, so DMX is my guy, right? I know some of you know who DMX is, but if you don't, you should get to know who he is. He had this beautiful quote here in one of his lyrics is, to live is to suffer, but to survive, well, that's the meaning in the suffering. But to survive, well, that is to find the meaning in suffering. Okay, so we live every day in some sort of suffering, right? But more we survive, we find a meaning, right? Why we continue to live another day. And not only live and exist, but live with conviction and purpose and motivation and love and embrace each other and also what is to come for us that we deserve in our lives, the life we want to live. All right. So here's a good question, right? How do we heal? How do we transform through these spaces? How do we, what's next, right? You say, all right, Doc, cool. This is all great. This is good information. I appreciate it. But how do we move through healing internally and in our communities? Because it's all good to do that work within, but what good is that work when our sisters and brothers are still out here suffering and we're not creating spaces for them to also believe in themselves so that we can have better and healthier communities? All right. So one, my action to you is to say, all right, well, we did think about how do we consider those resources around us? How do I find help? Okay, whether it's therapy or whether it's um, exercise or church or God, a lot of you have said, or whether it's embracing in nature or bringing those types of spaces in our community by having gardens and healing and restorative work, trying to look at people first with the namaste, saying, I honor and the divine light in you, right? Looking at that first as a form of engagement and not look at each other initially as threats, right? We look at each other with love first, all right? And then also being rooted in a lot of our indigenous identities, okay? We have to go back into recognizing who we are, where we come from, in order for us to know where we're going. Okay, we have a beautiful history, all right? Persons of color have a beautiful history that's grounded in spiritual practices that help us move to the next stage of how we heal each other and stay connected with each other. Okay, and Aboriginal people have this saying, and which is, in order for us to true healing to happen, it takes intergenerational work. 7 generations of healing is what they say, in order for us to move through collective trauma. So think about that, 7 generations. So that means it's the work I'm doing that changes my children's lives, that changes their children's lives, that changes their children's lives, that changes their children's lives. So the more we collectively heal ourselves, we also heal our generations. We heal how we then become parents to our children, how we become uncles and aunts, right? And that we become part of that chain of change within our society. That's how true change happens. So, one other quote I want to give you is that sometimes we stay stuck in our heads. That what are our feelings? Okay, so when you get these negative thoughts in your mind, don't judge it, right? Don't say it's true or not true. Just know that they are, right? That negative self-talk is there to defeat us, but we have to be just as diligent to have that positive self-talk and fight that negativity just as hard, just as strong as those negative thoughts are in our minds. All right. So before we move into a close, so in order for us to get to some questions and answers, maybe some questions I could try to discuss. And one I want to leave you with, what is my daily practice? Okay. So what is it that I do every day in order to help me move through a stage of peace? That's the first question. All right. So I want you guys to start putting in the chat box, what do I do daily in order for me to move towards a sense of internal peace? Okay. And I know we're talking about peace, and people are like, oh, okay, great. What's peace? Like, you define what peace is to you. These things shouldn't be taboo in our community. If we could talk about money, we could talk about love. If we could talk about business, we could talk about peace. If we could talk about um, all these other aspects of getting money, then we could also talk about all these other aspects of being ready when I do have money, the type of person I'm going to be within. All right. So you can't do this work, that other work without this work. You cannot be out in the workforce living traumatized, living in a state of dysregulation and hurting other people. Okay, because all you're going to be is additional vulture in society, taking advantage of other people while inside you're empty and you're hurting and you're lonely. So this is a taboo. So write down in the chat box, what are some of my daily practices in order to have peace? So I'm gonna look into that right now. I'll be seeing what you guys are doing. You pray, yes. Listen to music is another beautiful one. Writing, absolutely. Writing is a form of expressionism to get out of our heads and on paper. So I love when folks are writing, when they're able to, especially I think music is a beautiful way sometimes putting into words what we feel, or sometimes we don't have the words to say. So being able to write, some of you, are artists, some of you are not. It's a beautiful way of doing that. Okay, I encourage everyone to try to keep a journal, or try to use this form of expressionism in writing as a tool to heal. Eating healthy, Jay, absolutely. Okay, it's what we watch, what we put into our bodies. Being mindful that what we put into our bodies also affects our mood. We know that, it's just fact. Uh, absolutely. Christina, meditation, yes, absolutely. Absolutely. Poetry is another beautiful one, another form of expressing and writing about how we are. Okay, embracing the times that we're with each other and our families. Absolutely. Journaling. hmm Listen to music and pray. Yes, spirituality is important. Playing basketball, absolutely, used to be my form of escape when I was younger. Right now I'm older, I can't play ball like I used to, but yeah, playing basketball has been one of my favorite things. Amber, yes, looking outside, the wind in your face, those small micro moments when we're embracing the sensations of what is around us, of living. That's beautiful. Yes, absolutely. Drawing, yes, another form of expression. Okay. Now I want you guys to start responding as to what can I do today, all right, that I'm not currently doing. All right. What can I do today as a practice to move towards the life that I want to live tomorrow? Okay. So write down something, put it in the chat box, or something you want to do that you're not currently doing in order to live the life you want tomorrow, as a practice, as a stage of peace. So I want to see your responses. What am I doing? What can I do that I'm not doing in order to help me move to the life I want tomorrow? Okay. So for some of you, it may be just meditating more, eating healthier. All right. This is your commitment to what you want to do in your life. All right. What is it that I want to do in order to improve my daily life? All right. Exercise and work out. That's important, Khalil. Reading more. Absolutely. I'm sure you don't sound like a dying rat. Come on now. I'm sure you're great. But singing is another form of great expressionism. Why? Because we're releasing that, storing that energy within, and we're letting it out in a way that's healing and healthy and fun, right? Adding more fun to your daily life, laughing more, okay? Something you could do every day. Connecting more with people. Yes. Hitting people up and saying, you know what? I appreciate you. Okay. You mean a lot to me. This is why. Okay. Connecting with people you haven't done that in a while. Okay. Absolutely, Aaron. Every day, how do I practice having more confidence in myself? What is it that I can do each day to build that? Okay. So that's one, working within, rewiring your thoughts, and first saying to yourself, fighting those negative thoughts when it comes in and says, I can't do this. And you said you say to those thoughts, you're a liar. I could do this. And you keep fighting it and fighting it, and you challenge it. But it's a daily practice and it's not easy. Procrastination is another one. Yes. Okay. So one way, I'm gonna give you a tip about how do you work through procrastination. One thing I like and I enjoy are having lists, but short lists, not long lists. Okay. Don't create a list of more than 5 things, because then if you don't do it, you're gonna feel guilty and upset and angry at yourself for not getting it done. So create a list every day of 3 things you want to do. Okay, just 3, between 3 to 5. Don't go past 5. And you put it down in your phone. You put it down in your notes section. Okay, you put the little checkbox in there every time you do it. Okay. And you look at it as a way to keep you on task, but also reinforces the accomplishment of the things you have done. Oftentimes, when we think about what we need to do, you have a list like 100 things. I got to do laundry, then I got to read book, then I got to do this thing, and by the time the day ends, you probably only got a few things done, because sometimes things happen and you get distracted, and then you shame yourself, or that we're angry because we didn't get it done, and that it creates a cycle of negativity. So write down, keep it to 3 things. That's it. No more. Don't go more than that. 3 things you could do in order to move through procrastination on a daily basis. All right. Good. So, all right, we're wrapping up here, people. So stay with me. So, as you are all thinking about what is it I could do every day, okay, to move through my state of being stuck, um, remember, take small bites daily. Okay, it's not a practice because you do it sometimes. Somebody mentioned basketball earlier, right? That they love playing ball. So getting good at basketball, you can't just go out there the first day and pretend you're going to be hitting all your shots. Okay, you start off doing practicing your layups. Okay, practicing your free throws, and the more you get competent and confident on what that is, then you start expanding your game. But you do it every day. You do a little bit every single day. If you could be focused on getting money all the time, then you could be focused on taking care of your own wellness, your mental health every day, because it's just as important. All right. It's an investment into you that there's no price tag for it. All right. So some of you may say, all right, well, you know what are the next steps? How do I kind of, if you want to talk to somebody, you feel a sense of distress sometimes, here are some resources for you. If you're looking to get into therapy or looking to get support, the crisis text line is one. You don't have to go um, into someone's office. You could text right there and talk about how you're doing, how you're feeling. That's what I highly recommend. And the first one, the Mhas screening, it's really if some of us don't have insurance, and you want to find a low-cost therapist or someone you could talk to, that is a support for you all. So with that said, I'm going to pause here. And for the next few minutes, I want to answer about 3 questions that may have come up for you. And I know you should have to complete a survey at the end of this presentation. And regarding this presentation, make sure I'll give you time to do that. So let's take a few minutes, and I'll be more than happy to try to give you some responses. So for those of you who have a question for me and would like me to answer something right here, right now, put together the question, if you will. So feel free to write any question you may have. I'm gonna allow a couple more minutes for questions, and I'm gonna send you guys over the link in order for you to provide to have your the survey, to complete the survey for today. All right. Afia has a question. Is it true that you truly have to love yourself before loving others, and why is that? All right. So this is a very deep and very important question. Let me try to answer that to the best of my knowledge. So Is it true that you truly have to love yourself before loving someone else? Then think about this. How do I know love if I don't know it within me? So all we're doing is we're simply giving something that I'm not ready to receive. So if we give love and give love and give love to someone else, but I'm not ready to receive it, what kind of relationship do I have with this person? That becomes a toxic relationship. And specifically, what we call that a codependent relationship. That means when you base your sense of self on the love of another. So if you don't have that sense of love within yourself, it's going to rely upon the perception and perspective of someone else who you're trying to love. So when they stop loving you, what happens to you? Okay. What happens? Your own perceptions of self and who I am and who I choose to be is solely relied upon that person. So then that when once they're gone, so does the pillar and the structure and the foundation of why I love myself. So loving ourselves is things like being more compassionate to ourselves and forgiving to ourselves when we make mistakes, or forgiving when we don't necessarily understand fully what we did or what's happening, and saying, you know what, how do I give myself a little bit more compassion? Watching what we say to ourselves about ourselves when we're by ourselves. Okay? That's what we say, things like stupid or ugly or whatever, right? No, I am not this. Loving ourselves unconditionally is the first step to being able to embrace love of somebody else. All right, I'm gonna take this one last question by Aaron. How do I know someone or I am depressed? Okay, so let's remember depression is a state of being. So it's a severe sense of sadness. Okay, so we all become sad. It's part of human experience to be sad. Okay, something happens, we're disappointed, we may be sad, right? That's part of our human experience. So the difference between sadness and depression is this. Sadness is a state that sometimes, it's usually caused by something. I'm sad because, okay? And it usually lasts maybe a couple days, right? And you bounce back. Depression is a constant state of prolonged sadness that usually lasts longer than like 3 weeks, constantly every single day. So when you're constantly, most of your day, if you think of your day and you break it down, and 70% of your day, every day for the next 3 weeks, you feel that way, that's a state of depression. Okay. That's the difference between sadness and depression. So sadness, it's a momentary state of being that usually is caused by an event. Um, the depression, a state of depression, is a prolonged state of sadness that lasts most of your day for a longer period of time. Okay, every day in the same thing. So, all right. With that said, I'm gonna pause here. I want to thank you all for all of your feedback and words. Jamila, I don't know if you want to say something to close.
Wow.
Before.
All I can say is wow. I'm sitting here and I'm taking in all the information that I got from you, Juan. And I just wonder if our students know how blessed they are. First of all, many of you in high school, you basically just had your first college course, right? Dr. Juan Rios, professor at the renowned Seton Hall University, has just pretty much ministered to you, but also gave you a lecture that I would think college students would also be able to listen to and understand. So it's dope to get this kind of information from someone just like you. Juan, what we have to do is put in, when the students first started out, they all took your survey, right? But now we're going to actually start your second survey with you. So what I guess we need to do, Because you want to, you just mentioned to them that they need to take the survey, right?
Yeah, the survey is really the feedback survey. So it's just it's a course evaluation.
Okay. So what I'm going to do, guys, is I'm going to make sure we put that link up so that you can copy and paste it into your browser and take this quick survey, right? So I want to make sure you do that. We have a couple more minutes before we log off. I have a couple of things to tell you. But yes, please say thank you and let's clap it up. We have a tradition of clapping it up. Yes, they are saying thank you, Dr. Rios. We are looking forward to
My
you
pleasure.
back some of your friends. I definitely want you to talk to them more so about higher education, the difference, what it means, why
Absolutely.
you guys do research. So we're going to have questions for him as we go. Guys, this is the level. We're setting the bar today, and we're only going higher, 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 higher. That's what I'm talking about. We going
Absolutely.
higher with the EO Sweat program. So it's going down. I see a lot of our kids truly, truly, truly enjoy it. Everybody now, guess what? This is how we're going to know if you're on this call or not. We're going to need to know if you're on this survey. So right now, click the link. Make sure you are in the survey. Survey Monkey, do what you need to do. And go ahead on. I'm going to say goodbye to you. Thank you so much for your time. Thank you for coming through. And we'll see you again soon.
Definitely. So Jamila, for everyone out there as well, today was really a foundation into what we'll be discussing next time. Next time, we're going to go into the next level about education, research, academia, its importance about making sure that folks of color are not only in academia, but also those professors teaching the academic settings. So for those of you who need the name of the course, I'm going to write it down so it can be posted up, but it's also Destigmatizing a mental health, working within and out. Okay, so I'm going to write it down here, Destigmatizing mental health within and out. All right, so that's the title. It's going to be posted up right there on the bottom. It was a pleasure being a part of today's session. Thank you, Jamila. Always love, you know that. And I can't wait to see all of you again during my part 2 towards the end of this of your program.
Thank you so much. Have a great day, Mon. Okay, guys. So we have some couple of things that I want to go over with you guys. We also have afternoon programming today. I told you about your hours. It's so important that you get in your hours. We'll go back over that next week. Paperwork. It's imperative that you get in your paperwork. Today we said was the last day to get in paperwork. So make sure that you have your paperwork in, right? Also, I want to talk about the comments. When we're doing these sessions, I want you guys to keep your comments clean, right? You're in the workplace now. You're being paid, right, for your summer experience. You're in the workplace. So if you wouldn't leave a comment in your jobs comment area of a work seminar, please don't leave it here. Take that seriously. Also, you are going to receive in the next few days an email invitation to create a custom VIP Coalition email account. And it's only those new emails that will have access to our Zooms going forward. So we are going to step up our security measures. How do we do that? Each of you are going to get a customized email address, and only your customized email address will give you access into our sessions, okay? So look for that. Also, afternoon Zooms. We have 2 courses happening. Boss Up Entrepreneurship. You guys saw Tiffany Williams earlier talk about how she took $500 and turned it into $1 million brand. Her course is happening from 2:30 today. And then art. A lot of you guys was in art the other day, and it was truly amazing. So I want to make sure you get back into that as well. Can we put that up on the screen so kids could get the meeting ID and information, please? We are going to have that across the screen. Also, don't forget to do the survey. The survey is our way of checking you in today. And you also are going to get notification that all your documents are in by tomorrow. So if we have all of your documents, you are going to get notification by tomorrow that we have everything in. And then we're going to start a fresh slate on Monday. All right, guys, so you have a brief break, and then we're going into your last and final sessions for those that want to check out Entrepreneurship and Art. And remember, by next week, you're going to have to choose which one of these sessions you're going to go into. So that's why it's always dope to take a look. And we want to get you into different areas, get you exposed. So if you're doing one thing in the morning, you could check out something different in the afternoon. We've got all kinds of folks, as you can see, that are really skilled in their trades that are teaching you guys this summer. So we expect to have fun. So before I sign off, I always like to do a check-in. I want to know, so far you've experienced, now today is Thursday, so it's been 4 whole days of the Swept East Orange program. How are you guys enjoying so far? I want to see how you're enjoying so far. And we've got to take the poll so that we can see what logo won. Sage, oh, my Sage. Thank you, thank you, thank you. It's wonderful. Okay. Yeah, you guys are going to get an incredible experience this summer. Yes, I love it. Okay. That's what's up. It's just exposure. How do you become successful? It doesn't just happen because you want it. You have to get information. You have to be around folks to tell you what to do and how to do it and how they did it, so that you can also believe that you can. And remember, I told you, half of it starts with belief. When you believe that you can, you set up yourself up for victory. So I'm grateful. Has anybody's faith increased in the last couple of days? Is anybody feeling like you can actually do this, that you can be successful, you can be famous, you can be great, you can be a millionaire, you can be an entrepreneur? Is anybody out there feeling like they can? Who has increased their faith since you've been a part of this program? Inspiring. Me, okay? Yes, that's what I'm talking about. We're increasing our faith. Okay, so with that said, let's do this. We are going to also send you out a survey. We're going to send you all the emails that came in with the logos for the Swept program, and you are going to choose what the logo is going to be. So we will have winners by Monday when we come into morning meeting, and we'll be able to announce that and also put it up on our social media. Also, we're going to start putting posts on our social media. So what we're going to need you to do is to upload any kind of videos that you've taken while doing this, any kind of quotes you've gained or gotten. We are looking for posts to put up on our social media account. So make sure you DM those over to us. For any questions regarding paperwork, please come back into the Zoom with the meeting ID below, and you're going to be able to speak firsthand to someone to answer any of the questions that you have. So that's it, guys. If you have a question, head over to that Zoom. If you are doing art or entrepreneurship today, head over to that Zoom at 2:30. And thank you so much for your time. This concludes our Thursday town hall. See you again on Monday. Have a blessed weekend. Enjoy.